So let's talk about this main event. This is why I say it's like they're doing this on purpose. Do you know, Brian, there is more than one reason why Stone Cold Steve Austin never had a no DQ title eliminator match on Raw with some indie guy from Secaucus. Because it's stupid. It's a stupid, stupid thing that makes no business sense. They have their supposed world champion, the world's greatest wrestling artist, Twinkle Toes McFingerbang himself, with his new manager, Don Callis, come out and have a no disqualification garbage indie match with a guy who's literally months removed and soon will be back again from sleeping in his car. A no talent goof, self-trained, with no respect for anybody, that looks like, as we've mentioned so many times, a blob of jelly that falls on the floor off of a piece of toast and splats into a cosmetically unpleasing shape. Jelly Nutella, who looked in this case more like Greta Thunberg than a wrestler.
That is funny.
Go look it up, folks. You remember the climate girl, from Denmark or Norway or wherever, the Pippi Longstocking hairdo, the fucking nondescript face, looks like a parking attendant in Cleveland. And he comes out, they made it no disqualification ahead of time because, obviously, first off, Jelly can't do anything else. And I guarantee you that Olivier is so stupid, he probably wanted this and intended this to be what he thinks is a good match. But Jelly comes out carrying his most recent apartment, a garbage can, and Sonny Kiss is with him. We won't even go through the list of team names again, but he can't figure out whether he wants to be involved in this or continue to stick his own ass out in a contrived and stupid, foolish way every time he's on camera. So before Twinkle Toes even got to the ring from his big entrance, Jelly hits him with a garbage can and does a dive, because why not? It's this point, and they immediately go to the floor. Why wouldn't they? They take garbage match bumps on a chair. At one point, Twinkle Toes drop kicks Jelly, the baseball slide drop kick, and Jelly staggers over next to and sits on a chair, obviously. So gingerly and contrived, he just accidentally sat in that chair so that Twinkle Toes can make his faces and do his happy feet and gesticulate and then dive onto Jelly sitting in the chair at ringside. But the slow-mo replay that they did right afterwards shows that, again, I think he did this before. No, it was another one of these knuckleheads. Twinkle Toes goes way to the side of Jelly. Jelly reaches out to try to catch him, and you see it in slow motion. Oh, I'm trying to catch this guy that's supposedly trying to hurt me, but he can't. He misses him. So the effect is that Twinkle Toes took a giant backdrop over the top rope, flat to the floor on his ass on his own, and then jumped right back up and continued on. You can't make this shit up. And I can see Tony Khan sitting back there thinking, oh, my dad's money has bought me the greatest wrestler in the world, and he's my champion now. And he'll be all fucking thrilled about that until Twinkle Toes does this one too many times with one of these job guys that ain't big enough to fucking catch a full-grown man, even if he did aim himself in the right place. And his goddamn champion's going to be paralyzed on television. And he's going to have nobody to defend his belt. And he's going to have nobody to be on his TV show and stink the place up. Fingerbang actually started hitting Jelly over the back with an aluminum cookie sheet. Not even a metal one, but an aluminum one like you get takeout shit in. And Jelly was selling it. And probably not even on purpose. That probably did hurt him. Yeah, meth will do fucking horrible things for your goddamn physical well-being. Then Twinkle Toes and Callis start doing commentary on the PA mic. It was so good and so funny and so entertaining when Jerry Lawler did this in the WWF in the 90s because he actually has talent and something to talk about. Twinkle Toes got a garbage can, held onto it on the top rope, and moonsaulted onto Jelly with it, right on Jelly's face. And then he was talking on a microphone with one hand, beating Jelly up with the other hand. They did more horse shit with the garbage can. And then Twinkle Toes went for his finish, but Jelly reversed it into a reverse Hurricane Rana, but it looked so bad you couldn't tell who got hurt and who was giving the move to who. They just fell over in a heap. Sonny Kiss brings a table out from under the ring while still sticking his fucking bulbous ass out toward the camera in an awkward and fake way. And can we just get him off our television? Because it's way past fucking old now. It was insulting to begin with, and now it's just ridiculous. Jelly looked for something under the ring that he couldn't find and never did go back to find it. I don't know what that was. Jelly hit a couple of bad fake-looking punches on Twinkle Toes. Hey, Jelly, if you want to learn how to throw a punch like a man sometime, watch my videos, because everybody says mine look better than most modern wrestlers, and yours look worse than most all modern wrestlers, because you apparently have never hit anybody for real, because apparently you know your place in real life. However, goddamn. Then Jelly puts Twinkle Toes on the table, sitting ringside, goes to the top rope and jumps off and drops his ass on Olivier and puts him through the table. Remember why I explained why it's so ignorant to have your champion in positions to injure himself against a curtain jerker? This was even worse than that. Why the Do you remember when Dwayne Gill put The Rock through a table, Brian, on Raw that night? But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because as soon as he put Olivier through the table, Olivier jumped right back up. They went right back in the ring. Twinkle Toes hit a few of his Canterbury knees and then hit the one-wing fairy, 1, 2, 3. They had a garbage wrestling match when having a garbage wrestling match wasn't even necessary. And just did it because one guy in the match can't do anything else. And they don't care about keeping their garbage wrestling to a minimum on this program. That's what they did. If they couldn't keep a 1 million viewer average with Sting's debut and Shaquille O'Neal, what's this fucking four-finger stinker going to do for them? Do we have any ratings yet?
We do.
Well, let's hear them.
AEW 806. NXT 766.
So they closed it back down to 40,000 from about 200,000. You know what that's a response to? As we've always said, the rating you get is not the rating you deserve for that show. The rating you get is the rating you deserve for the previous week's show. And last week, they promised people a bunch of shit, and that's exactly what they gave them, was shit. And they've lost 150,000 people in a week already, and NXT gained 100 of those back. Well, there you go. And it's still a small amount, and cumulatively, altogether, barely gets what the worst rating in the history of Raw gets. So we're fighting for table scraps here in the wrestling business that's hotter than ever and more popular than ever before, and everybody can be in wrestling now because it's so inclusive. There's more people in the wrestling business than there is watching the wrestling business these days. Merry Christmas, Brian.
Happy Hanukkah, Jim.
Closing thoughts on AEW, or did we give them already?
I liked the last segment, I got to be honest.
You did? What about that did you like?
Let me first say what I didn't like. Justin Roberts needs to go.
He needs to go, and then he needs to go so bad, he needs to go and come back just so he can go again.
whatever it is that the shtick is that he's saying about Omega, he says it so you could barely even hear what he's saying, except for North Carolina, whatever that inside joke is that I don't need to know. He sucks as a ring announcer. He needs to go. I like Omega and Callis here. I know you dismissed it and said it wasn't as good as Lawler. I like the stuff with them on the mic. I thought that was great. I thought when he went over to the table and Tony Schiavone said, "Kiss my ass," that was hysterical. I really liked that because Schiavone seemed legitimately pissed off at the guy. Like, I'm not giving you my microphone. Get out of here. I thought that was good. Look, I was able to...
Was it not okay? Then I will admit, Callis is good. I've always said Don's good on the mic.
I even thought
I don't know why he doesn't have better taste picking his friends. And Olivier may have been acceptable here also. Why did we have to have a garbage match with the worst looking, pathetic talent on the roster instead of having a regular match with anybody else that you would put in the ring with a world champion and let them do their shit?
I agree with you. Now, again, even if you want to say Omega never got the match with Jelly during the tournament because of COVID, so he had to wrestle Sonny Kiss, so we're going to have the match.
Who gives a shit?
But even if, my point is, even if you're going to say that.
What? God damn it, I almost caught that case of crotch rot, but I put the cream on and caught it in the nick of time. Boy, I missed that crotch rot.
But the point is, even if you're going to say that, making it no DQ for no real reason was silly. And then it was just silly. I actually, at one point during this match, started feeling bad for Jelly. Because I'm like, man, this is this guy's whole life. These garbage wrestling matches, these independent shows.
That's where you're wrong. He doesn't have a life.
Well, no, this is his life. And meanwhile, everyone he knows from the independent scene, for the most part, I mean, there are people he knows that didn't, got signed up by AEW. And whether we like him or not, they're being used a certain way, except him. He's the one guy that they've treated like a job guy. And, you know, a lot of people like you and me will say, whether you like him or not, that's really the only role this guy has on national television, is to be a job guy. But at one point when he was taking those shots from the cookie sheet and he was just selling it by just like depressingly leaning against the apron, I felt bad. I legitimately felt bad for him. Like, you know what? This is not going the way this guy hoped it would go. I genuinely felt bad. And then even
when Twinkle Toes gave him the pity offense, the reverse Hurricane Rana thing just is such a stupid move anyway. Nobody could tell what was going on. And then he throws 3 fake punches and leg drops the champion of the world through a fucking table, all to no avail.
See, that's the thing.
It's just garbage wrestling with inexperienced people and no restraint from the top to direct them what they should or shouldn't be doing.
I liked Omega here with Callis. The big mistake, I think, for the match, beyond making it no DQ or anything else, was Jelly's comeback, where he got out of the finisher and then, again, his ass just hit him right in the face as he went through the table. Now, you brought up the chair spot where he dove over the rope and he basically just did a sunset flip to the floor. I don't think you would have seen it because I know you don't pay attention to this, but I saw a clip. Omega just wrestled in Mexico for AAA. You know, No,
I saw that on Twitter too. Yeah, same thing. He dove out of the ring and missed the fucking guy.
Yeah, and it was like, I guess his opponent was being held by Nakazawa, and then the opponent left well in advance, so he does the flip, and Nakazawa was supposed to catch him, and he just right to the floor, just splat. So this is 2 times in a week he's done this.
If I was Tony Khan, I don't know how much Kenny Olivier is making per year. So let's say it's $1 million, $1 million. I would see that on Twitter and I would call my champion up and I'd say, you dumb, stupid Harpo Marx looking motherfucker. If I catch you doing that in Mexico or anywhere else ever again, while I'm paying you $1 million a year to be my world champion, I'll put you in a fucking hospital. You dumb, stupid fuck.
I've seen Tony Khan's commercials. He's not cutting that promo.
No, he's certainly not.
But I enjoyed this for what it was, and I like Omega as a heel, finally, a full-fledged heel with Callis. Now, the post-match, where Pac came out, I really like that, except for the fact that Pac said, I have unfinished business with you, we'll handle that later. You're going to wrestle Rey Fenix. I'm thinking, man, I want to see Pac against Omega. Why Ray Phoenix? I told you, they had an Iron Man match like at the beginning of this year that I thought was really good.
I hate you worse than anybody else has ever hated anybody in the history of this planet, motherfucker. So I tell you what, you're going to fight him first.
Exactly. What? Exactly. So I didn't like that, but I'm trying to think, this may have been the best segment on the show. Not being perfect by any means or any stretch.
I'm not going to, it's Christmas. I won't browbeat you too bad for saying that. You're just nuts.
Callis and Omega, from the little bit I've seen on AEW, because I'm not watching fucking Impact.
No.
I think they've been good together, and I think Callis, if Callis does the majority of the speaking on the mic, that only benefits Omega. If he acts like a heel, it makes the fact that he's such a douchebag more palatable because he's a heel that you want to see get his ass kicked. I thought this was all right. And again, I genuinely, at one point during this match, I just said, I've gotten to the point now I feel bad for Jelly. Because I just feel like, he's like, fuck, they're doing this to me again on TV. Like, I genuinely feel bad for the guy now, but.
Moldy jelly is what, but anyway, if they hadn't had the garbage cans and the tables and they had attempted to actually have a match, then the concept of the thing would have worked for me even, and Callis and Olivier being heels, etc. But with all the garbage wrestling and the no DQ and the bullshit, it just became the same thing that they do in every other match.
And what was he looking for?
Because they can't help themselves.
What was he looking for under the ring? What?
We'll never know. It's like the fucking envelope of pictures that Baby Doll had. We'll never fucking know what was under the ring. It could have made the difference for Jelly. He could have won the fucking match.
There was barbed wire that I saw under the ring, and I was like, oh my God, is he going for the barbed wire? And then when he went back to the other side, I'm like, oh, he was looking for something else. So we'll see if barbed wire is used next week on the show.
He was probably looking for the number of his fucking wrestling school trainer to call and get a refund. I don't know.